Hey everyone, it is Mandy. Welcome back to my channel. So for this video, I'm going to be doing a story time video. It is a story that is pretty crazy, let me tell you. Pretty crazy. It's about my roommate, my crazy roommate, psycho roommate. And this happened my sophomore year of college. And it was crazy. But let me go ahead and tell you, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe if you'd like to see what else I'm going to be doing on my channel. You can decide maybe after the video. Alright, let's get into the video. Like I said, I had a psycho roommate my sophomore year of college. It was my first time moving into an apartment type of thing because I had lived in a dorm my freshman year, and I actually did not have the experience of getting to live with someone. I was supposed to have a roommate, but they just never showed up. So yeah, I had my own room. They didn't make me pay more for having my own room, which was awesome, but it was kind of lonely, and I kind of wish I did like get to experience having a roommate my freshman year. When I was gonna move into this apartment, didn't know anyone that I was gonna live with. I just signed my lease and filled out like a roommate match sort of thing. I had questions like, how clean are you from 1 to 10? How quiet or loud are you from 1 to 10? What are your study habits? All these different questions that's supposed to help you have a good match for a roommate, which didn't end up happening. When I moved in, it was nice, everything. All of my roommates were quiet. We all got along. Everyone kept the kitchen clean and everything. So I'm gonna skip ahead. I think it was like a month that had passed by, and this is where it starts getting crazy. So one night I'm just chilling watching Netflix on my laptop, and all of a sudden I get a phone call from my roommate. Let's just name her Leah. So I get a call from Leah and I answer it, and I'm just like, hello? Like, cause it was really late. It was like 1:30 or 2 in the morning when she called me, and I just answered and I was like, hello? And she was like, oh, I heard your TV was on, so I knew you were awake. And I was just like, what? What? You can hear my TV from your room? Like, I can't even hear my other roommate's TV that I live right next to. Like, it was kind of creepy and weird that she can hear it, but I was just like, okay, whatever. I guess I have it too loud or something. And so she's like, I just wanted to see if you're awake because I kind of want someone to talk to about something. Do you mind meeting me in the living room? And I was like, okay, yeah, I can meet you in the living room. I'll be over there in a second. So we both go into the living room, and she locks her door. Like, every time she leaves her room, she locks her door. Even if she's literally just going to the laundry room that we have it's right next to her room. I'm farther from it than she is, and she will lock her door when she's washing. When she gets out of her room for anything, she'll lock her door, which I found was a little weird. Maybe she has something in the past that happened that she just wants to lock her door because she's scared someone steal something from her or something. So she locks her door, and then we go in the living room and we're just talking. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you because, and she's an international student or foreign exchange student, so she doesn't speak English very well, so it was like a little bit hard for me to understand some of the things she was saying or what she meant when she was saying. She was just talking to me and told me, so I kind of feel threatened by my professor, and she wouldn't really tell me why. She just told me she felt threatened by her professor for some reason. So I'm thinking, like, if it's a guy professor, maybe sexually, which is kind of like creepy and scary. So I was like, oh, I feel bad for her. I was like, oh, have you talked to anyone else about it? She's like, no, I haven't talked to anyone else about it. I was actually wondering if you and I can go talk to my professor together. Okay, maybe she doesn't have any friends here since she's like a foreign exchange student. She doesn't know anyone well. So she thought she had to ask one of her roommates. I don't know why me out of our other 2 roommates that she picked to talk to, but she chose to talk to me. Like, yeah, I'll go with you on Monday because I think it was like a Friday or something. She was like, can you actually call our other roommate, Samantha? And this is actually her name. Her name is Samantha. She didn't mind me adding her to the video because we're still friends. So she asked me to call our roommate Samantha, and I was like, what if she's probably sleeping right now. Do you mind if we call her like tomorrow? And she's like, no, I need to talk to her right now. Like, this is urgent. Basically saying like she wanted to talk to her right now. So I was like, okay, well, I'll call her. I called Samantha, and Samantha sounded groggy, like she was sleeping. So I was like, hey, do you mind coming out to talk to me and Leah right now? And she was like, I was actually sleeping. So I tell Leah, Samantha's sleeping. Do you mind if we talk to her tomorrow? And she's like, no, I need to talk to her right now. Can you please have her come out right now? Samantha comes out because I told her she wants to talk to you right now. So she comes out and we're just talking and like just about normal stuff. And I let her know like about her professor and stuff. And we're just talking just about normal stuff too. Where we come from, like just because like basic stuff, asking each other's majors because that's what you do, your age, all of that information. Oh, and my roommate Leah, when I had moved in, she told me she was a freshman. But then when we were talking at that moment in time, she said she was a graduate student, which means she graduated already and she's already on her master's. Okay, well, that's kind of weird. She told me she was a freshman when we moved in. But, you know, I just let it go or whatever. Because again, she's like a foreign exchange student, so I didn't know if she was confused. I don't know. I'm not saying for people from different countries are confused easily. I'm just like, just because her English was really, really off. So I was like confused. Samantha had to go in her room and grab, I think she went to grab her phone. So she goes and grabs her phone, but when she gets up and grabs her phone, Leah like slowly follows her and looks like at the side of the door, like to see, like look in her room from the hallway. And I was just like, what is she doing? Like, that's so weird. Why would you do that? It's kind of creepy. So she comes back before Samantha comes back with her phone, and Samantha sits down and she's just looking at her phone. And then Leah like calls Samantha when she's sitting right there, and like Samantha's like, yeah, my phone's ringing, look, it's ringing. And Samantha just like declined her call. And Leah's like looks at her phone and she's like, can you delete that? Like the fact that she just called her. And she was like, okay. So she deletes it. And she's like, no, I want you to delete all of your call log. And someone's like, no, like it's my call log. I don't want to delete it. Like it's mine. Like what if I need to use one of these numbers that I don't have saved or something? And she's like, can you just delete it? And me and Samantha just look at each other. What is about to happen? Like, why is she acting like this? She was just fine like a couple seconds ago. Why is she asking you to delete your call log? Like, that's so random. And I would never ask someone to delete something off of their phone. Like, it's not my phone and we don't even know you that well. Like, it was just really weird. And me and Samantha didn't know each other really well at this time either, just so you guys know. She calls her again, like, and she's like, yeah, like it works, like your phone works or whatever. And then after that, she just keeps like insisting that Samantha deletes her call log, and Samantha didn't want to. So next thing you know, Leah just snatches her phone and runs across, like around, because we were sitting at our kitchen table. She runs around the kitchen table. She literally runs around the kitchen table and like looks so frightened and scared and hands me Samantha's phone. And I was like, what the heck just happened? And I just handed it back to Samantha because it's her phone. And she's like, no, don't give her phone, don't give it to her, don't give it to her. And I was like, whoa, like you need to calm down. And I was just like, you need to calm down, like nothing is wrong, like there's no reason for her to delete her call log, and there's no reason for you to take her phone. Just like calm down, like what's wrong? Like we kept asking her like what's wrong. Like walks around the table and stands there, and Samantha's like freaked out, so she just wants to go back in her room, but Leah like blocks the hallway. And she's like, and then when Samantha tries walking through, she like pushes her. Like Leah is literally pushing Samantha, like attacking her, pushing her really, really hard. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, what is happening? What is happening? This is really creepy and really freaky. Like what the heck is happening right now? So Samantha just like ends up pushing her out of the way and runs to her room. And Leah, I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong? And she just like doesn't say anything. And then I like run to my room too, and I close the door and I lock it. And I'm just like texting Samantha like, oh my gosh, what the heck just happened? Did this just really happen? Like, what do you think is wrong with her? Like, what the heck? Why would she do that? Why would she try to grab your phone and stuff? So me and Samantha are just like texting back and forth. And I'm like looking under my door because I'm freaked out right now. And I want to see like if she's like outside of our rooms or like in the hallway or something. So when I look under the door, I start getting a phone call from her. And I'm like, decline, decline, decline every time she calls. And her feet, she's like standing in her doorway, but I can see her feet like in the hallway towards my room. So like she's standing in her like room area, but her feet are facing my door, like looking at my door to see if I answer, I guess. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I was like texting Samantha and I called Samantha and I told her, dude, she's like looking like at my door. I can see her feet. And next thing you know, she turns all the hall lights off. Like we always turn the hall lights off when it's nighttime, so I wasn't freaked. Like so it was normal, like, oh, we're gonna go to sleep now. So she turns off all the hall lights, goes in her room and locks her door. And then I'm just like texting some of them like, oh my gosh, like I have knives in the kitchen. What if she tries to attack us, like attack you and me this time? And what if she uses like a weapon? So I'm like, Sam, we need to go into the kitchen and grab all the knives that we have in there and put them in our room. So me and Samantha, like after a couple minutes, we run out, we grab the knives and we run back and I go into Sam's room because I'm like freaked out. And of course I locked my door beforehand because I'm not messing with that. So I run with Samantha to her room, and I don't even know Samantha that well at this point. Like, she's just my roommate. Like, I don't know her at this point. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, Sam, like that was so creepy, and we were just talking about it. And so like I called my mom first. My mom never answers her phone, so I wasn't surprised that she didn't answer. And then I called my dad. He always answers his phone, and this one time that I actually really need him, he doesn't answer. He didn't answer my phone call. So then I call my older sister and she answers. Or I called her once and she didn't answer, and then I called her again and she answered, and I was like telling her everything that had happened. She's like, oh my gosh, dude, that's so creepy. Like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, I don't know. Should I call like an RA, which is a resident assistant, or should like I call the cops? What should I do? I don't know, hold on. And then she like gets my mom on the phone, and mom was like, no, just call the RA tomorrow morning if they don't answer now, and just see what happens from there. And I was like, okay, like that's fine. But like I hung out in Samantha's room for a while more because I was still freaked out. And next thing you know, after I'm off the phone with my mom and my sister, we start hearing her yelling on the phone. Like I don't know what she's saying, we can't really hear, but we hear like yelling, like, and obviously we hear she's on the phone and she's like, call 911, call 911 or something. And I was like, what the heck, like what's wrong with her? Like, oh my gosh, I'm freaked out right now. So a couple minutes later, we hear banging on the door, and it's like, hey, it's the police, please like open up the door, is anyone home, and all these different questions. And so me and Samantha are too freaked out. We don't know if she's out there, and we don't want to go out because we don't feel safe. So the cop ends up coming inside of our apartment. I don't know how they opened the door, but they came in, and we heard him like in the hallway like, hey, is anyone home? We said someone call 911 and all this stuff. And then me and Sam open the door, and we're like, can you come over here? Like, we're too scared to go out there. Can you come over here? And so the cop comes and talks to us and let him know everything that happened. So like after we tell him everything that happened, he tells us to wait outside. So we wait outside, and he goes and like tries to get our roommate to come out of her room. And so he's just like literally like, she won't come out of her room. There's two cops, so one was like trying to get her out of her room, and then the other one came back and told us and gave us an update about what was happening. And he told us that she wasn't getting out of her room, and he was talking to her through her door basically. And so after that, and then this is like a sort of funny part of the story. We have neighbors. Obviously I live in an apartment, so our neighbors like open their door and they're like, hey, what's going on? And we're like, the cops are in our apartment. And they're like, what? Why? And we were like, I don't know, there's something wrong with our roommate, she's going crazy. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he like closes his door, slowly closes the door and like looks out again at us, and then closes his door and looks out at us again. He's like, are you guys gonna be okay? And we're like, yeah, I think so, the cops are here. And he just said, oh, okay. And then he said goodnight and he closed his door and we didn't see them again. After a little bit, the cop tells us we can come in, and she just like still hadn't opened her door, and she's talking to him through the door, and they're like, can you please open the door so we can talk to you face to face or whatever. So after like probably 30 minutes, she finally opens her door and starts talking to the cops about what happened. And she was just saying, oh, there's someone in one of my roommates' room. I feel threatened. I don't like when people are here. I like it when it's quiet and all this stuff. And she said that she hears noises at night, and from what I can assume, she is probably hearing the people that live above us. They were always super loud with like stomping their feet. Like there were guys that lived there, so I guess they had big feet and they would like stomp them all the time. So that's what I assumed she was hearing. One of the cops came back and was talking to us again while the other one was still talking to her, and he was just like, she just keeps telling us the same story. It's like she's like anxious and starts talking and she sounds crazy. She's like, and then she'll calm down, and then she'll like get all hyped up again and then get calm again. And then he told us that her window was open and her screen was out. So I was like, oh my gosh, like what's wrong with her? Like, is she okay? Like, I don't know. And I'm a psychology major, so I was like, maybe she has schizophrenia, maybe she has multiple personality disorder or something, because she was fine at one point, and then she told us like how I told you, she lied about being a freshman and then said she was a graduate student. So I was like, I don't know what she really is, and all this different stuff. So I was like freaked out by that. She's ended up talking about how she saw her parents through the computer and that's the only way she could talk to them. So I guess like Skyping, but the cop called it Snipe because he didn't know what it was called. He's like, yeah, that Snipe thing. And we're like, oh, it's Skype. And he just kept saying Snipe, and it was just so funny. That's like the funny thing about the story. And then the cops, like one of the cops was really like funny and like talking to us about different things, and like he's like, so this is a plan. We're gonna have her go to a hospital. We're gonna ask her if she wants to come with us, just so she can like go to the hospital and see what's wrong with her. And so they go, and it's like 5 in the morning. After this, me and Sam like texted like all the time because we were like freaked out, and we're like, when is she gonna come back? Is she gonna come back? Like, what's gonna happen? So our roommate Leah would always leave her shoes outside of her room because she wouldn't walk in her room with shoes. So we would know when she was home or when she wasn't home. Her shoes weren't there for like 2 whole weeks. Our other roommate wasn't home during that time, so when she came back on Monday, we were like, we should talk to her, let her know what happened, let her know the situation. So we go and knock on her door. We talk to her in the living room and tell her what happened with the roommate, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy, and all this stuff. And like, we were just like shocked, and she's like, you're lying, like that actually happened, like that's crazy, like that's so crazy, like I wouldn't have thought that. She's super quiet, she keeps to herself, and she just keeps to herself. So I was like, oh yeah, I know, that's what I thought too, but no, she did that, and she is crazy. There's something wrong with her. I don't know what it is, but something is wrong with her. We were like, I actually got a phone call today and I didn't get to answer it or whatever. She's like, oh, I got a phone call too, but she had actually answered, and she said that it was a hospital and that they were trying to talk to her about something. She's like, oh no, like I don't know what you're talking about and all this stuff. So she hadn't known what happened because we didn't tell her until that night. So after that, we called the number, and it turns out it was a hospital, and we told him like our roommate is there. Can we have any information about what's happening with her? And she said, well, do you have the case number? And we're like, no, like we don't have the cop case number or anything like that. Well, we can't give out any information because of patient-doctor confidentiality. And we're like, okay, but you called all three of us. But I don't know, they didn't want to tell us anything, so we didn't get any information. But after that, we all like continuously texted each other like, is she home and stuff like that. We had a group message for it, and I would always tell them, please leave the light on, I get home from work late, because we always usually had the lights off. But I was like, nope, not walking around with the lights off now, because that happened. After about 2 weeks, I'm not home when this happens, but she comes home and she starts, I guess she's like packing her stuff. She has someone else with her, which is a translator from the hospital. And so the roommate that wasn't there when it happened was there when she was moving out. And she told her, oh, she's not gonna live here anymore, she's going back to her country. And she wanted to talk to the one in charge of the electricity bill, which is me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so creepy. And so the other roommate that wasn't there said, oh, I don't think she's home right now. And she just said that like in general. She would have said that if I was home or if I wasn't home, because she knew that I did not want anything to do with her. I didn't want to see her. I was scared of her. So she tells her, oh, she's not home. So she ends up just like sliding money under my door. She was gone 2 weeks, guys. 2 whole weeks. And she had to have someone come to her apartment with her to help her move out and stuff, to make sure she probably didn't do anything else pretty crazy, or attack one of us or something, or get revenge or something, even though we didn't do anything to begin with. So that's my crazy story that happened. It was literally so insane. I can't believe it happened to me. Like, I wouldn't have thought anything like that would ever happen to me, but I guess it just happens sometimes. And the only good thing out of this is me and Samantha are like besties now. We're like super close. We tell each other everything. And this all happened because our roommate was crazy. Because I don't know if me and her would have ended up talking. Like, I'm sure we would have talked, but not like a lot. But we really bonded over that. That's like the only way we became, that's like the way we became friends. And we're friends since then. We were actually roommates like this year too, at a different apartment complex. And yeah, so that's the only good thing. So I know this story was pretty crazy, and if you have any crazy roommate stories, please leave them in the comment section down below. I want to know about them. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please just give it a thumbs up in general, because that was just a crazy experience that we had to live through. And if you like this video and you want to see what else I'm doing on my channel, you can subscribe. It's free, and it'll just give you notifications whenever I post a new video. So again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And yeah, bye guys. Hope you guys have a great day or night.